Hello, everyone. Welcome to Bees in a Pod. I'm your Queen Bee host, Mo.
And I'm co-host Worker Bee Mash.
And this is Bees in a Pod. This is a podcast not about anything in particular. It's more about just speaking to people. We want to hear stories and explore different kind of topics, but really it's led by our guests. And there's going to be two different types of episodes going on. So we're going to have one set of episodes that's going to be specifically with guests. So it's going to be nice and quiet, uninterrupted podcast with guests. So we're going to be speaking with community leaders, people running projects, young people, alumni, leaders, activists, just generally amazing people, because we work with so many amazing people. And then the other type is going to be like today, where we're going to be speaking with members of the public. We're just going to be out in the open. It's going to be a bit chaotic, bit interrupted, but it's going to be good. And a little bit of background about LIC. So for those who are first listening in, Leaders in Community, or LIC, are a youth-based charity based in Poplar, Tower Hamlets, East London. And we run a centre called the Teviot Centre. And we run a bunch of community projects here for pretty much every kind of person in the community. And alongside that, our main offer is youth leadership and social action projects for young people. So we support young people into employability and to create social action campaigns where they take action about something they care about. And a lot of our young people have gone on to do amazing things. I'm a former young person from LIC. I joined when I was 14 with the music program of Syed, our current CEO. We'll have him on in a special episode. But I'm not the only one. There's loads of us here at LIC who used to be young people. But that's us in a nutshell. That's nice.
I think that was the perfect summary.
So we're here at the Food Co-op Organic launch, where our amazing colleague Melanie has managed to source organic produce at non-organic prices. So we want to make healthy food accessible to people, especially now when things are really expensive, hard to get by, and it's hard to eat healthy. It's hard to eat. We've been reflecting, especially here at the centre, that there's not a lot of healthy options around. And generally in Tower Hamlets is a theme, especially accessible healthy options. The cheapest option is chicken and chips. It's hard to avoid. Well, our first guest here is Syed. Syed is the what's the official is it CEO or head of charity?
Let's let him introduce it.
I'm Syed. I'm a bit short for this.
It's adjustable. You can just pull it.
How do I?
So just pull it by this bit here. Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
There you go.
You can tell I'm new to this.
Yes.
Oh, is that better?
Yeah, sounds much better.
All right, cool. Let's start again.
Yeah, go for it. Well, I mean,
it's rolling.
It's rolling. It's rolling.
Guinea pig, was described as. So I am Syed the guinea pig, aka head of charity at Leaders in Community. I'm one of the original founding members as well. And yeah, I've heard a lot about this podcast that I'm apparently assigning funds towards. So I thought I'll come down and see if it's value for money or not. Really excited to be on here, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. So do you want to just give a bit of a background, because I spoke about LIC, but as a really brief overview. I don't know if you want to talk a bit deeper about what we're trying to achieve. Just while I've got some questions to ask, but just whilst I pull them up, just if you can just talk a bit more about LIC.
So Leaders in Community, we're showcasing the fact that young people are the change, right? That young people not only care about their futures, but they care about their families and about their communities and wider society. And today is such a fantastic example that just highlights this fact. So, healthy eating is something that everybody can benefit from. And it's the young people that work here at Leaders in Community that have championed this, made sure that, our communities and their peers can gain access to good quality food that would improve their quality of life, not just their health, but their overall quality of life, their well-being. They're not looking at this in isolation. They know that in order to, have good drive and motivation, you need to be mindful of what you put in your body, and also they reduce their carbon footprint on the environment. So this project, this food co-op that we are running now, organic food co-op, is such a great example that showcases when young people are informed about the things that affect us and the changes that need to be made, they take action. And that's exactly what this is. And leaders in community, more broadly speaking, it is young people, it's us supporting young people overcome barriers to progression, whatever that may look like. And we do that through offering genuine leadership, bespoke leadership courses, and through youth social action campaigns. And I would say that this food co-op event taking place behind me right now is an example of one of the social action campaigns that our young people have been working on.
That was a great summary.
That's why he's the boss.
That's right. So we've got a few questions.
So you pick the number, Mo, and I'll read it after him.
I can't. Do you want to pick a question?
Pick a number.
I can't read this.
Let's go randomize it. Just pick a number. 1 to 15.
Just know that I'm reviewing your performance right now as we speak as well. Okay, yeah, go for it.
Let's do.
Did you just say 1 to 50?
15.
Okay.
We're not going to ask all these questions.
Yeah, go for it.
This
Go
is
for it.
just,
Come on, start with the first one. Let's go.
All right. Tell me about a person who's had a significant impact on your life, and what was one lesson they taught you that you'll never forget.
My grandmother, hands down, most stable adult in my life that I've had. I'm fortunate enough to still have to this day. My link to what I would say the garden, the homeland. She is that piece of continuity, a living piece of history. And what one lesson did you say? Oh gosh, she helped lay the foundation of who I am as a person and what true resilience looks like. That's what she taught me. That when I will feel embarrassed when she speak up despite her broken English to stand up for herself, I used to feel embarrassed, like, oh god, man, just don't say anything. As a child, and looking back, I realized that no, she is a principled woman, and she knows her value, and she knows her value is not limited to her lack of academic qualifications or her ability to converse in a specific language. I mean, this amazing woman can speak four languages, by the way, been here since the 1950s, has suffered so much trauma, and is hands down the absolute strongest person I've ever met in my life. And I'm proud to say that I've met some incredible people through this line of work. So that's a big statement coming from me. She speaks Bengali, Hindi, Urdu, English, and she touches a little bit on kind of Turkish and Gujarati as well. I think she speaks Gujarati actually. I don't know, people are going to mock me if that's the same as one of the other languages that I just mentioned. But because when she first came here, there wasn't a Bengali community. And so people of colour, supported one another. That was true community spirit. They will travel to seek out and see one another, to support one another in whatever way they could. And thanks to that as well, she got to learn, the common language here is food. So she's learned how to cook multiple cuisines. And again, that's where my love of food and cooking comes from as well.
Food's really important. It's really important because when I moved out, that's when I really learned how important it is to eat together. I was talking to my mom about it recently because I've been banging my head against the wall trying to organize all my family members to have a meal at my mom's, because it's been everyone, like my brothers have moved out, I've moved out, and it's everyone's busy. And when I moved into my flat, I stopped cooking for myself unless I was going to bring food and share it with someone else, because that whole sense of, like, it doesn't feel right to eat by yourself. It's
well-being, isn't it? Like I'm an avid tea drinker, and I stopped drinking tea when I moved out at the age of 21, because it just suddenly put into sharp relief the fact that I was by myself in the space. And whereas tea is a very social activity, especially in my grandmother's house, she's such a popular person as well. She's always feeding others. That door and that phone is constantly going. And I was the main tea maker, the chaiwala, so to speak. And I never got to delegate that to anybody else. The older I got, that still remains my role to this day. So every time I started, making tea at home, I realized that actually I'm by myself and I'm distant. I have this distance with my family members. So I stopped drinking tea until I got married, actually. So it's a really, really interesting point. And it also shows that it's the one thing that held families together. So even when there was friction and conflict, no matter how angry you are, your belly, your belly overrules
That's true.
the heart and the mind at times. You know, your physical needs at a certain point essentially become the most important need that needs to be addressed. So even if you're not speaking to somebody in your family, you know, that the smell of that food, you know, your mouth starts salivating, and you will find your way back to that home, right? So it's such a powerful tool, I think, that people underestimate now. And again, I know we're speaking about, like, you know, our families and things like that, but I can't help but think these are some of the thoughts that sit behind why we're so passionate about the food co-op and what we do now. People are sitting there wondering, well, you're a youth organization, why on earth are you doing this? These are the kind of conversations that we have with our young people who predominantly come from Black, Asian and mixed heritage backgrounds. These are some of the common themes that unite us, no matter what our backgrounds are, what our heritage is. You know, everybody can attest to the fact that food is what unites us, and it's such an important part of our upbringing and our social cohesion, right? And our stories.
And an exploration of cultures, because we're in, like, you know, Tower Hamlets, like, we've got everyone here. It's such a mixed, diverse area,
and historically as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Always.
Exactly. And food is it's an easy, accessible way to start exploring other cultures and building those connections. Because what my personal experience, I'm Moroccan, and I grew up around a lot of Bangladeshis, and exploring your food was really interesting to me, because there are certain things that you guys eat or prepare similar ways that we do. And
give us an example.
you're really around the sweets. Like sweets are kind of universal in a sense, but like your halwa is similar to kind of the stuff that we have as well.
And for those that don't know, that's like a sweet, doughy carrot.
I know, I'm getting it mixed
It
up.
always reminds me of Play-Doh, but essentially it's like
Yeah.
a sweet dough with like raisins, quite sugary. Lovely,
Yeah.
absolutely love it.
But it was through food that because going to my friend's house and trying all kinds of like home Bangladeshi food kind of broadened my understanding of Bangladeshi culture, because you know I grew up around Bengalis, so it was a really nice opportunity to really understand it better.
Well, you can, it's worth mentioning as well that food can also dilute or destroy cultures, because if you look at our eating habits now, adults and young people, the fact that we're developing tastes that are taking us away from our traditional foods that our families cooked at home and have been eating for centuries, actually is creating this disassociation and distance with our cultural roots and heritage. And actually a lot of our parents and grandparents feel less and less valued, because when they had no money and they couldn't offer much, the very least they can pour their heart and soul into making excellent quality food that was feeling that they took a lot of pride in, and they spent time investing in creating that kind of food, and people are not eating that anymore. So without that, what else? They don't feel like they have anything else to offer, which is not true, but that's what we're facing right now. So I think championing good food and fruit and veg here. If you look at many of us that come from Black, Asian and mixed heritage background come from poor backgrounds, right? Or low income backgrounds, that's right. And so we've come up with amazing, wonderful ways of utilizing fruit and vegetables. Okay, and so being able to give the best quality version of those products means that our communities can take pride in what they serve at home, and reintroduce if the young people have forgotten or moved away from kind of cultural foods, they can reintroduce that in a very healthy way back into their families, right?
Yeah, because all of us come from, like, traditionally back home, we eat loads of vegetables because it's the most accessible kind of food. It's the cheapest kind of food traditionally.
You lot probably. I mean, I'll speak as one of the younger lot out of you guys, but I absolutely hate vegetables, and I think it is saddening because the younger kids, children, everyone, you just hear it all the time. How it's a stereotype. Make sure your kids eat veggies. Like, so how do you then get them to have a love for it and actually enjoy having vegetables?
Well, this is part of the wider conversations. And well, first you build up, you educate, our communities, and that starts with our young people. Like I said at the beginning, our young people are the change. You don't know what you don't know. You can't fight what you don't know. You don't know what's been taken away from you. We people don't realize just how addictive the majority of the food that we consume, the processed food that we consume, really is. They don't know what we're fighting against, what's invaded our bodies. You know, our mindset. It's very difficult to tell someone to stop eating certain food things when they've been essentially, they have to be weaned off it in some cases, because we don't use the word addiction when it comes to the fizzy drinks and cheap processed foods that, you know, we're shown today that healthy food can be accessible, can be nutritious, can be delicious. It's taken us a lot of work, but this is what happens when enough people become educated on what we really need. And actually, we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We're going back to our roots. We're actually selling things that we already know is good for us. We have this received wisdom. And so we're leaning on the wisdom of our parents, of our communities, and we're trying to promote this wisdom that we've cultivated over the last hundreds and hundreds of years,
the
right?
The whole setup of a co-op as well is super accessible.
Yes.
And I know the Limehouse co-op in particular trying to, they've kind of a little bit ahead of us in that sense of trying to get local residents to understand they can do it themselves.
Yes.
Like, for anybody watching, it's crazy that not a lot of us know this. So for those who have big families, you can just order fruit and veg directly from a supplier. If you have a big enough family and enough orders to meet their minimum quantity, you guys can just all order your fruit and veg together, and you'll cut costs like crazy, especially if you shop around for good suppliers. And for anybody who wants to do that, you can come talk to us. Like, we can recommend suppliers. We've gone through quite a few. Melanie's a great person to talk to. It's crazy. It's so accessible. It's such a great system that's super underutilized, and I'm still in shock that we're able to offer this. But really, when you think of it, it's not at its root, it's not something difficult to do. Scaling it for a community centre is where we found the challenges to scale it to this extent. But
this is just the start, isn't it? Today,
exactly.
Like, I know this food co-op's going on for a while, so a lot of hard work's gone into making this today happen. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. This is the beginning. We don't just want to invite people down here to buy affordable organic produce. We want to build relationships so that we can have conversations like this. This is the whole point, you know, so we can build meaningful relationships so that, you know, people understand that our intentions are genuine, that we are genuinely trying to support people and their families and this community, right? We should also give a shout out to St. Hilda's Food Co-op, who have been trailblazers, have been doing this stuff for about, I think, over 17 years, I believe. So, you know, they showed us that this was possible, and we are now part of this fantastic collective of food co-ops. You know, we have this philosophy here. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel. No one organization can do all of this stuff by themselves. We're not trying to do it by ourselves. We need, like, you know, we are working with other like-minded, fantastic organizations that have their own approach to getting things done. But as a collective, we're able to share best practice, and that's what it takes to make this happen. You know, that we're not competing against one another. We are raising each other up, and by extension, we're raising up our communities together. We're taking a more holistic approach to this, right? So there's so much to celebrate today. There is just I'm so proud today, honestly. And I should say that I take absolutely no credit for today at all. Huge amount of credit goes to our wonderful colleague Melanie, who works here part-time. She pulled this off, working just 2 days a week, and she did it in less than a year. Absolutely incredible. It's a testament to the fantastic people I get to work with every single day here at Leaders in Community. Some of them are a bit odd. They wear bee suits every now and then, but you know, like, it's just keeps me on my toes.
Joined us on this podcast. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm a fan. You know, I'm a fan. Don't worry about it. I'm a champion of bees as well. Yeah. So
I mean, let's just finish it off with just some parting words, and then we'll open it up to everybody else. So yeah, just do you have any parting words?
Yeah, I love this. I think this is such a great format. I can't wait to see where this Bees in a Pod goes next. I want to get everybody that I know that's part of our networks onto this podcast series. I want to show other youth organizations, like, look, we innovate here. Be bold. You know, this is what happens when you listen to young people as well. Like, we come up with ideas, and a lot of thought, on a serious note, a lot of thought has gone behind the purpose behind this Bees in a Pod, even down to the costumes that you're wearing, the way you've applied the face makeup on. A lot of thought and care has gone into this, as it does into everything that Leaders Community does. We are not a frivolous organization. We're a very small team. So we're very careful about, making sure that we maximize the use of all the resources that we have at our disposal. And the best resource we have, of course, are the other people that's involved in this. So it's a privilege being on here today. I hope I didn't just waffle, and I've said some things that perhaps
good.
people might find.
Having you. It was an honor having
Yeah, it
you
was
on
a great-
here.
Oh no, you're gonna start making people cringe here.
There'll be more episodes.
Yeah,
like
I'm
we
on
said, we during our intro we mentioned that there's two formats to this. There's one that's going to be like a one-to-one interview, a special interview, podcast episode with someone, and then something like this where it's in the middle of an event, in the middle of the day, just quick casual conversation. So we'll definitely have you on the kind of a specific episode, and we'll explore things in a bit more detail.
Anytime, I'm happy.
Thank you, Syed.
Take care, guys.
Because we're getting him out of his work. That's why exactly.
Do you know what? Anytime that's away from that screen one is healthy for me. I've actually really enjoyed this morning. And funny
it's
enough,
nice.
I've been for people that don't know, they gave me the LIC phone to try and capture some footage and pictures. I don't know if any of it will be usable, if any of it
We'll
would
find out.
get me in a bit of trouble.
He's
But,
been taking selfies all day. That's what he's trying to say.
Oh, wait until you see the footage. Okay, I think I captured some really impactful stuff. But anyway, guys, thanks again for having me on,
Thank you very
and
much.
I look forward to the next time. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you soon.
Bye.